अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरि ओम्। ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaaya. Readings from and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are in page 136. The chapter is titled The Master and Keshav. The Master became intoxicated with divine love and sang, "Is Kali, my mother, really black? The naked one, of blackest hue, lights the lotus of the heart." The Master continued, "Bondage and liberation are both of her making. By her Maya, worldly people become entangled in woman and gold, and again, through her grace, they attain their liberation. She is called the Savior and the remover of the bondage that binds one to the world." Then the Master sang the following song in his melodious voice. There is a note for this. The allusion of this song is to the well-known kite flying competitions in India. Several people fly their kites and try to cut one another's kite strings. Whoever has his string cut loses his kite and quits the game. In the world's busy marketplace, O Shyama, thou art flying kites. High up they soar on the wind of hope, held fast by Maya's string. Their frames are human skeletons, their sails of 3 gunas made, but all their curious workmanship is merely for ornament. Upon the kite strings thou hast rubbed the manja paste of worldliness. Manja paste is a glue of barley and powdered glass, so as to make each straining strand all the more sharp and strong. Out of 100,000 kites, at best, but 1 or 2 break free, and thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O Mother, watching them. On favoring winds, says Ramprasad, the kites set loose will speedily be borne away to the infinite across the sea of the world. The Master said, the Divine Mother is always playful and sportive. This universe is her play. She is self-willed and must always have her own way. She is full of bliss. She gives freedom to 1 out of 100,000. A Brahma devotee. But sir, if she likes, she can give freedom to all. Why then has she kept us bound to the world? Master, that is her will. She wants to continue playing with her created beings. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops if in the beginning all the players touch the granny. There is a note. The allusion is to the Indian game of hide and seek, in which the leader, known as the granny, bandages the eyes of the players and hides herself. The players are supposed to find her. If any players can touch her, the bandage is removed from his eyes and he is released from the game. If all touch her, then how can the game go on? That displeases her. Her pleasure is in continuing the game. Therefore the poet says, out of 100,000 kites, at best, but 1 or 2 break free, and thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O Mother, watching them. It is as if the Divine Mother said to the human mind in confidence, with a sign from her eye, "Go and enjoy the world." How can one blame the mind? The mind can disentangle itself from worldliness if through her grace, she makes it turn toward herself. Only then does it become devoted to the lotus feet of the Divine Mother. Whereupon Sri Ramakrishna, taking upon himself as it were the agonies of all householders, sang a song complaining to the Divine Mother. Mother, this is the grief that sorely grieves my heart, that even with thee for mother, and thou I am wide awake, there should be robbery in my house. Many and many a time I vowed to call on thee, yet when the time for prayer comes round, I have forgotten. Now I see it is all thy trick. As thou hast never given, as thou hast receivest not, am I to blame for this, O Mother? Had thou but given, surely then thou had received. Out of thine own gifts I should have given to thee. Glory and shame, bitter and sweet, are thine alone. This world is nothing but thy play. Then why, O blissful one, dost thou cause a rift in it? Says Ram Prasad, thou hast bestowed on me this mind, and with a knowing wink of thine eye, bidden it at the same time to go and enjoy the world. And so I wander here forlorn through thy creation, blasted as it were by someone's evil glance, taking the bitter for the sweet, taking the unreal for the real. The Master continued, men are deluded through her Maya and have become attached to the world. Says Ram Prasad, thou hast bestowed on me this mind, and with a knowing wink of thine eye, bidden it at the same time to go and enjoy the world. Brahma devotee, sir, can't we realize God without complete renunciation? Master, with a laugh, of course you can. Why should you renounce everything? You are all right as you are, following the middle path like molasses, partly solid and partly liquid. Do you know the game of knacks? In the Indian card game of knacks, the object is to stay in the game by scoring under 17 points. Anyone scoring 17 points or more has to retire. Do you know the game of knacks? Having scored the maximum number of points, I am out of the game. I can't enjoy it. But you are very clever. Some of you have scored 10 points, some 6 and some 5. You have scored just the right number. So you are not out of the game like me. The game can go on. Why, that's fine. All love. I tell you the truth. There is nothing wrong in your being in the world. But you must direct your mind toward God. Otherwise, you will not succeed. Do your duty with one hand and with the other hold to God. After the duty is over, you will hold to God with both hands. It is all a question of the mind. Bondage and liberation are of the mind alone. The mind will take the color you dye it with. It is like white clothes just returned from the laundry. If you dip them in red dye, they will be red. If you dip them in blue or green, they will be blue or green. They will take only the color you dip them in, whatever it may be. Haven't you noticed that if you read a little English, you at once begin to utter English words? Foot, it meet. The master was merely mimicking the sound of English. Then you put on boots and whistle a tune and so on. It all goes together. Or if a scholar studies Sanskrit, he will at once rattle off Sanskrit verses. If you are in bad company, then you will talk and think like your companions. On the other hand, when you are in the company of devotees, you will think and talk only of God. The mind is everything. A man has his wife on one side and his daughter on the other. He shows his affection to them in different ways, but his mind is one and the same. Bondage is of the mind, and freedom is also of the mind. A man is free if he constantly thinks, I am a free soul. How can I be bound? whether I live in the world or in the forest. I am a child of God, the King of kings. Who can bind me? If bitten by a snake, a man may get rid of its venom by saying emphatically, "There is no poison in me." In the same way, by repeating with grit and determination, "I am not bound, I am free," one really becomes so. One really becomes free. Once someone gave me a book of the Christians. I asked him to read it to me. It talked about nothing but sin to Keshav. Sin is the only thing one hears of at your Brahma Samaj. The wretch who constantly says, I am bound, only succeeds in being bound. He who says day and night, I am a sinner, verily becomes a sinner. One should have such burning faith in God that one can say, what? I have repeated the name of God, and can sin still cling to me? How can I be a sinner anymore? How can I be in bondage anymore? If a man repeats the name of God, his body, mind, and everything becomes pure. Why should one talk only about sin and hell and such things? Say but once, O Lord, I have undoubtedly done wicked things, but I won't repeat them, and have faith in his name. Sri Ramakrishna became intoxicated with divine love and sang, if only I can pass away, repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be? Then he said, to my Divine Mother, I prayed only for pure love. I offered flowers at her lotus feet and prayed to her, Mother, here is thy virtue, here is thy vice. Take them both and grant me only pure love for thee. Here is thy knowledge, here is thy ignorance. Take them both and grant me only pure love for thee. Here is thy purity, here is thy impurity. Take them both, Mother, and grant me only pure love for thee. Here is thy dharma, here is thy adharma. Take them both, Mother, and grant me only pure love for thee. To the Brahma devotees, now listen to a song by Ram Prasad. Come, let us go for a walk, O mind, to Kali, the wish-fulfilling tree, and there beneath it gather the four fruits of life. Of your two wives, dispassion and worldliness, bring along dispassion only on your way to the tree, and ask her son discrimination about the truth. When will you learn to lie, O mind, in the abode of blessedness, with cleanliness and defilement on either side of you? Only when you have found the way to keep these wives contently under a single roof will you behold the matchless form of Mother Shyama. Ego and ignorance, your parents, instantly banish from your sight, and should delusion seek to drag you to its hole, manfully cling to the pillar of patience. Tie to the post of unconcern the goads of vice and virtue, killing them with the sword of knowledge if they rebel. With the children of worldliness, your first wife, plead from a godly distance, and if they will not listen, drown them in wisdom's sea. Says Ram Prasad, if you do as I say, you can submit a good account, O mind, to the King of Death, and I shall be well pleased with you and call you my darling. Why shouldn't one be able to realize God in this world? King Janaka had such realization. Ram Prasad described the world as a mere framework of illusion. But if one loves God, hallowed feet, then this very world is a mansion of mirth. Here I can eat, here drink and make merry. Janaka's might was unsurpassed. What did he lack of the world or the spirit? Holding to one as well as the other, he drank his milk from a brimming cup. All love. So this is a beautiful passage. We are reading from the chapter, the Master and Keshav. We saw earlier that Keshav arranged a cruise and Master was asked to travel in the cruise for a small distance in the Ganges river. So Master came, he was completely intoxicated with divine name of Mother Kali, and he could not even walk to the boat. So two people held him and took him to the boat and took him to the ship finally. And there he was seated, and Keshav is there, and everybody, all the other people are there, and then he was talking. So some of the beautiful passages we saw earlier, but in this passage we find, because in the last week we saw the Master is explaining about Shyama Kali. So Kali is a form of Divine Mother. There are many forms of Divine Mother, as you know. So actually she has got 1000 names. Actually speaking, Mother has got infinite names. But in order to indicate the infinity, so our sages have created 1000 names. So you go on say, if the 1000 is actually a term used for infinity also. So 1000 people speak means there are any number of people are speaking. That is, you can't tell the exact number. So 1000 people like that we say. So 1000 names Mother has got. That is called Sahasranama. So Devi Sahasranama is called Lalita Sahasranama. It's a very beautiful book. And it was told by Agastya Rishi. So it was revealed to him and he spoke the 1000 names of Lalita. Lalita means Parvati. That is Durga. So in Bengal, this Mother Kali's worship is very famous. And Divine Mother's worship in the form of Kali is something extraordinarily visible in the whole of Eastern India. From top on, from Manipur onwards, if you see, and coming down to Bangladesh and Bengal and West Bengal, and then to Orissa you go, and it is all Kali worship is there. The same Kali worship is done in the southern side, in the Kerala side also. So there are two places we find that Mother Kali is worshipped with great adoration and devotion. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna's devotion to Mother Kali in the Dakshineswar temple is also very Providence has made like that. Because Rani Rasmani made the big temple, Dakshineswar temple, and she had brought the Kali statue also. It was lying in the wooden case. One day Rani Rasmani heard or saw in a dream, Mother is telling, when are you going to put me in the temple? How long I have to lie down here? And Rani Rasmani became nervous and she went to that where the murti was kept in that box, She went and saw there were drops of perspiration on Mother Kali's face. She understood this is a very divine thing. I should not keep any more. As soon as possible, I must do it. And what is the doing means? The statue has to be put into the Garbhagraha, where the sanctorum is there, where the statue has to be installed. So Prana Pratishtha has to be done. So there was not much time. And then she called all the Pandits, the Brahmin Pandits were called, and she said, I want the Murti to be installed, so that she becomes lively. She is already alive. But then the Pandits put a lot of problems. They consulted each other and said, Oh Rani, you have constructed this temple. The temple belongs to you. How can we come and do such installation, puja, etc.? She said, why? Because you are born of a low caste. We are all Brahmins. We cannot perform in a temple which is constructed by a low caste woman. Because Rani Rasmani, she was called Rani though, she was born in a fisherman family. Because she was extremely beautiful, and the king's son who was passing in a boat looked at her and he fell in love with her. Then he sent his, dutas, that is messengers, to her family and asked for the hand of this girl. And they were all stunned. a fisherman, ordinary fisherman, poor fisherman, and her daughter is going to be the Rani. So they agreed, okay. And the prince also married her. And after that she became excellent lady there. When she became Rani, what an intelligence she had. To speak about Rani Rasmani itself, it will take 1 hour. Such a wonderful lady she was. And she had the dream that Mother Kali is telling her, why you are going all the way to Banaras to see me? Make a temple here itself. And then she had already prepared to travel to Banaras. In those days, going to Banaras and Rani going. So with all her 50 people and rations, etc., 19 boats were prepared. And all the boats were supposed to travel in the Ganges from Calcutta to Banaras through the Ganges route. And she was ready. And she has already travelled from her place, from Calcutta town to a place for night she stopped. And when she got up, she looked around and she asked, where are we? Then they said, we are in Dakshineswar village. See, that is the Dakshineswar village. So she purchased some plots of land and she constructed the temple. Temple is ready, but the image is not ready. How the puja will be done? And now Mother Kali has already given her the dream also. Get me quickly. And there is no time. And the Brahmins have, the Pandits, they said, no, we shall not do it. And that was the time. In that Pandits meeting, Ramakrishna's elder brother was there. And he came home very sad. And he was looking very sad. So Ramakrishna was his younger brother. So this younger brother went and asked him, why you brother, you are so sad today? Then he said, I went for a meeting and I was thinking, if the temple comes up, I will get some job so that our family can be saved. But now my brother, I don't have job also and the temple cannot come up now because the Pandits have refused to inaugurate it. Then Ramakrishna gives an idea to him. How is it? Because the temple belongs to her, the Pandits are refusing to work. Suppose the temple belongs to Mother Kali herself. Will they work or not? Then the brother said, yes, they should work because it is Mother Kali's temple. It is not a low caste woman. Mother Kali is a universal mother. So if it is her mother, then he said, why don't you ask Rani Rasmani to give the temple property in the name of Mother Kali and absolve herself from the ownership of the temple. This idea, Ramakrishna's brother writes a letter to Rani Rasmani and she again calls all the Pandits. She says, today I am handing over all the property to Mother Kali. This is called trust deed. That's how the trusts come on Mother Day, on the Mother Kali. And she made a trust deed. And there is no other way the Brahmins have to accept. Okay, we shall cooperate with you. How do you cooperate? Who will be the pujari? The Ramakrishna's elder brother, Ram Kumar, he said, I will be the pujari. So he was selected. You see, the temple was ready as if for Ramakrishna to come and do his, scientific experiments in religion and spirituality. There was no place for Ramakrishna where he will do all his experiments. So he needed a laboratory. Swami Ranganathanji used to say, Dakshineswar was a laboratory for Sri Ramakrishna. He needed a laboratory. A scientist needs a laboratory. So where it is? So it was ready. And then Ramakrishna was brought there. And then we all know the story. So he speaks of Mother Kali so much that Mother Kali herself is considered, as one of the forms of Divine Mother, which a Divine Mother and the Brahman, Sri Ramakrishna says there is no difference. Like a milk and its whiteness, like the diamond and its dazzling power. He says, so the mother as a Kali is something wonderful. In Puranas, we get some lot of information why Mother Kali has been depicted in a way she is depicted. Say for instance, you find there questions are asked, see the picture of Lakshmi, see the picture of Saraswati, or Parvati herself. They are all well dressed and well groomed and well with all their necklaces, etc. But you will find Mother Kali, there is no necklace, There is no ornament to her. What is the ornament she is wearing? Mundamala. The head cut in together and made into a garland. That is what she is wearing. You see, Lakshmi is seated on a lotus flower which is very soft. Saraswati is also seated on lotus flower. And the deities, the goddesses, are all either seated or standing. But this is the only deity that is walking. Mother Kali is always walking. You never see her standing like that or seated. She is walking. And you will see all the deities. You will find the goddesses are very, very, I should say, gentlemanly. In the sense, they are well behaved. But you see Mother Kali, she has opened her mouth. Not only opened her mouth, put her tongue out, which is not considered as decent. In a very well-established families, you can't just put out your tongue out like that. But Mother Kali is depicted like that. And her dress, absolutely naked. The naked one, that is the adjective given to Mother Kali. Naked one. And with all this, if you find that, one fellow said in South Africa when I was there, he came to me and said, Swamiji, I accept all the gods and goddesses of Hindus, but one goddess is really, it troubles me. He said, which goddess troubles you? So this Mother Kali. I can't understand why you all people worship the goddess who is supposed to be the very fond of drinking blood. She drinks blood. And drinking blood is not a proper thing. And you all worship that deity as a goddess. Oh, it was such as the lot of misgivings come, and you find that Puranas gives beautiful explanation for these things. I'll tell you one by one very briefly, because we don't have much time. So, one of the things they say, the word Kali, though interpreted or translated in all languages as a dark complexion, but it is not merely dark complexion. Kali comes, the word comes from the root kal. Kala means time, capital T. That is called time. So Kaleshwar means the Shiva, and Kali means his counterpart, his power or his strength, his glory, and that is called Kali. So Shiva's wife Kali, that is how they are now united in Puranas. So Kali is the power of Shiva. So she is called Kali. Because it is feminine gender, so the Kala becomes Kali. Now, if she is time, I used to make fun with the children that can you say that 1 hour I will catch and put it in my pocket and then I will use it later. Can you say that? Can you catch the time? Can you stop the time? Though in romantic poems they say, after seeing you, time stop forever, like that they write. But that's only in romanticism, but not really. So time never stops. Time is always moving. And when it is moving, Kali has to be represented as walking only. You cannot make her stand. Still, time stands, stood still. Like that we write, for writing literature. But time can never stand still. It moves on and on and on. So Kali is shown as walking. And then you find that she has put out the tongue. When I was talking to some of the black people in South Africa, I asked the ladies, if you make any mistakes while talking, say pronounced incorrectly, or should not have told that particular word, you have uttered, do you put out the tongue and bite it? They said, yes, we have that custom. We do. Our ladies all do that. And the same thing I saw in Bengal also. Not only in Bengal, I saw in Andhra also. The ladies, when the girls were there talking, something bad they have uttered, should not have uttered before the elders, then they bite the tongue. They put the tongue out and put the bite. So, this biting the tongue or putting the tongue out is very much there. That means what is it signifies is you are ashamed at that point of time. Something you are feeling shame. So you have put out the tongue out. And the Puranas give a beautiful explanation that when Mother Durga, from her, between the eyebrows, the third eye, Mother Kali comes out. This story is in Sri Sri Chandi. In Devi Mahatmyam, this story comes. And Chandi's eyebrows, she makes the eyebrows small and bring together in anger. Her face becomes, Chandi's face becomes black. And from that eyebrow, middle point, Kali comes. And she asks Durga, what do you want me to do? She says, you see, there is a great Asura standing before me. I am unable to finish him. Go and finish him. That is my order to you. Then Kali goes. And that Asura is called Rakta Bija. His name is Rakta Bija. Rakta Bija was such an Asura, if you cut his head and the blood flows from head to the ground, immediately in the drop of the blood, another Rakta Bija will come. And that Rakta Bija will be equivalent to the original Rakta Bija's power. Now, Durga is cutting his head, cutting his leg, cutting his hand, but the blood is falling down on the floor. And again, thousands of Rakta Bijas are coming now. And Durga is tired. So she sent Mother Kali. So Kali comes. Actually, Durga is taking another form to kill that Asura. Then Mother Kali looks at him and she first cuts his head and the blood falls down. Another 500 Rakta Bija Asuras have come before her. She is stunned. What is the way to stop another raising of other Rakta Bijas? The blood should not fall on the ground. So Mother Kali cuts the head and goes near the head and drinks the blood, finishes. Like that, one by one Rakta Bijas, she cut the head and then she drinks the blood. So the Rakta Bija was completely dismantled. So this is the story. The Purana says this. Now, if you see scientifically, what is this Rakta? You know, the Rakta is another name for asakti or attachment. They say, if there is, suppose I kill somebody here and I clean up the entire place very well, however well you do, if anywhere one drop stain is left, that is enough for the police people to find out from there who is the culprit. So that means it can go and attach with that spot so strongly. A drop of blood can attach some of the time. Sometimes when I shave and it touches my bunion or anywhere, and to wash the bunion is so difficult, because the blood has fallen on that. So difficult. It's another place. So Rakta means that is you are feeling pleasurable. Pleasurable things our mind gets attached. So it is Anurakta. Is another word in Bengali we use from Sanskrit. Anurakta means attached. So the Rakta is that. So if you want to remove that attachment, that is what Mother Kali does. You have to drink it away. The blood has not to be kept. It should be drunk away. So that means the attachment has to be completely removed. So like that, there are many items that we find the explanation of Mother Kali. It comes in different scriptures, and our sages have always told about this. And here also Ram Prasad, one of the wonderful devotee of Mother Kali, he has written innumerable poems in Bengali language, and each of those songs are indeed even till today are really wonderful songs, because he exclaims and he wonders at the power of Mother Kali, her nature, her Trigunamayi, three gunas fully there, and all those points he brings out, and he wonders also. So the first song that we saw today, there Ramakrishna sings, he says about the kite flying. Kite flying is a game everywhere, not only in India it is practiced, in other countries also it is practiced. We have seen Europe also kite flying is very famous, in some other countries like Spain. So we find that kite flying is there, and in that thread they put the manja. Manja means that glass pieces, they are made into powder and they put it over there, so that it can cut the other strings. So when the strings are placed, and how he futilely says, "Oh Shama, you are flying the kites." kites are none but we human beings. Each of us are one kite in the hands of Mother Shyama. And she is playing the kites. And some kites she cuts with that banja, for dispassion. She cuts that. And when 1 or 2 of 1,000 kites are cut, that freed kite just floats in the air. And it is freed from the play. And you, at that time, when the kite is cut off, the children we have seen, they clap their hands and they joyous mood. And that is what happens when Mother Shyama also sings like that. Oh Mother, I see you, I visualize you, that you are clapping your hands and singing when 1 or 2 comes out from this attachment of the word and gets a liberation by your grace. Because she only cuts the kite. So by her grace only it comes. This is one of the important aspect of bondage and liberation. Little different from the Advaitic standpoint of bondage and liberation. This Bhakti school of thoughts, particularly this Shakta Mat as it's called, the faith in the Shakti cult. Shakti cult says it is only Mother makes everything. There is nothing. If you are attached to the world, that is also she only makes you. And if she gives you liberation, she only gives the liberation. So both are done by Mother only. So what? We should pray to her. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says here. We should actually pray to Mother Kali to remove that screen she has put before us. It is she only makes it. But the question comes, why she should make us play all the time? That means contain us in a particular attachment and then make us suffer also. And Sri Ramakrishna says, and the idea of Shaktamat is that this is her play. That's why Sri Ramakrishna declares that that is her will. Now can you question the mother's will? Today she says, I will make payas. Okay. Today we got rice with molasses. So it's alright. A mother has to will and she makes it. You can't question her why you made for me today this. So it is her will. She wants to continue playing with her created beings because we are all created. Srishti Sthiti Vinashana Shakti Bhute Sanatani. The Chandi says. So Srishti Sthiti Vinasha, all the 3 are done by her. So she can do that. She is playing them. In a game of hide and seek, the running about soon stops if the beginning of the players touch the granny. That's one of the games he says. So that it is her will. So the Shakta point is, you cannot question the will of the Supreme. So how do you question this? Once Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar told Yam, the writer of this book, he told Yam, you are Ramakrishna, you say Avatara Purush, go and ask him. So what to ask? He said, one of the Muslim kings came to India and he held 100,000 soldiers under captive. And the king's general went to the king, we are making food for 100,000 people every day, 3 times a day. And our khajana, that is our treasury, is getting emptied. What to do now? We don't have money to feed them. So the king ordered, shoot them, all of them, kill them. So 100,000 Hindus, soldiers died. So was your Mother Kali like staying at that time, woke up? Or she was still sleeping? So that is the question he put. So this is a very funny question. You ask somebody who is believing in Mother Kali and tell him that what your Mother Kali was doing at that time. There are so many things happening in this world, is it not? So many bad things are happening in this world. Natural mishaps are happening, calamities are happening, plus man-made calamities are also being done. For everything, if everything comes from God only, is God not responsible for this? So this question is put. So these theistic religions, they bring a beautiful answer. That everything is done by God. And it is God's will, it is Mother's will that these things are also done. And Mother also gives punishment to you when you do bad things in this world. That is the law of karma, we call it. So that also comes in the mothers. And then, who is questioning these? Sri Ramakrishna asks, Are you not a created being of her? If she is playing with all of you in whatever way she can, how can you question that? You can't question. So Shaktas, they say that mother's action is supreme, that we must accept it. In that faith only one become faithful to that sect. So Sri Ramakrishna brings that Ramprasad music, that how beautifully he says that men are deluded through her Maya and have become attached to the world. As if Ramprasad says, mother winked and then looking at the jiva, says, go and enjoy this world and suffer. That's what she says. With a wink of an eye, she has told. And the man goes and goes on enjoyment, and then after enjoyment, suffering comes, and both he is having, both good and bad he is having in his life. Later he understands, oh, these are all play. I should be away from the play. Now I should get out of this play. And that at that time when he comes and calls the mother earnestly. So Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. The household mother has got a lot of toys and puts her baby with the toys. And the baby is playing with the toys. But then how long it will play? And mother is so very rest assured, she's cooking in the kitchen. Suddenly she hears that baby has thrown away all the toys and crying for mother. And mother leaves whatever she was doing, comes running and takes the baby in her hands. So it is like that. So when we are tired of this world one day, we shall call the mother so earnestly. At that time, we are fit for liberation. And a few people are coming back to mother like that. At that time, mother comes, by her grace she comes and takes you with her. So this liberation as well as bondage, both are done by mother only. From her grace only it can happen. This is a conclusive statement of the Shakta Mad. So they all believe. So whoever God, if you personal God you believe and you think that God is personal to you, that means you must understand that you must have 100% faith in the powers of that personal God. So he does, so what I can do? I have seen some very good devotees who have been battered by poverty and got into a lot of troubles, and even then they would never accuse the God in whom they believe in. They say, no, it's all Ishvara. Ishvara has done this for me and it's good for me only. Like that they take it. So that is how a devotee has to approach this issue. That's how Sri Ramakrishna has shown us that how God can be good to us, can God be bad to us, in the sense that God can liberate us from a bondage and she only gives a bondage to us. Let us continue later. Om. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampadrita vigraham vai Ishavasaram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Hari Om. Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.